So, on November 13th, 2015, they did a show in Connecticut at the Hartford, Connecticut Convention Center. Yeah, we had gotten there at 3, maybe 2:30. And so I had pre-party, and my other two friends had, like, just general admission. So they got in, like, 5 minutes after we did. So I met these 3 other girls. They're pretty cool. We were in line, and Zach comes over, and he's like, okay, there's going to be no hugging. Don't be weird. He said we had to give them a handshake instead of a hug, which is kind of upset me, but oh well, I'll still meet them. I went by myself. Left to right, it was Dallin, Brendan, Kenneth, and Dan. And the line started over where Dan was. Zach was next to Dan. And I walked up to Dan, and he was wearing plaid. It was cute. And I shook his hand, and it was like, I was like, oh, hey, Dan, you know. I was like, wasn't really that nervous because, you know, like, I don't really know Dan that well. But then I went over to Kenneth, and Kenneth is like, I don't know how to describe Kenneth. He's just really short, and he's cute, and I love him, and he's amazing. Anyways, and he's like, hi, I'm Kenneth. And then, like, I shook his hand, and he put his hand on top of mine, and it was really cute. And, like, he has a high voice, and I love him, and he's so adorable. Anyway, so I was sort of fine, and then next thing you know, Brendan and Dallin are next to each other, and I'm like freaking. Dallin's my favorite, and then Brendan is like tied for first place. I don't know who my favorite is, but it's mostly Dallin. Anyway, so I walked up to Brendan. He's like, "Hey, I'm Brendan," and he holds out his hand, and I shook it, and he's like, "Oh, look, we're matching because we both had plaid. I always wear this plaid. Don't judge me." He's like, "How are you?" And I'm like, "I'm good. How are you?" He goes, "Oh, I'm good." And then I turned, and I just look up at this tall skyscraper of a man, my precious tall cinnamon roll, Dallin Weeks. And I'm like, I don't know. And he's all like peppy and stuff, and I take his hand, and I'm like, hi, Dallin. Like, I couldn't talk. I lost all sense of communication. So then I'm like, I don't really know where to stand. And then, like, Brendan moves over, and there's like a space in between him and Dallin. He goes, here, you can stand here. And I'm like, oh, did he just say that to me? Okay. Dallin has his arm around me, and Brendan has his arm around me, and it was really cute. And I was like shaking so bad. I actually had a grip on Dallin's coat, and it was really amazing. So, you know, we took the picture, and then I kind of like looked at Brendan, and he's like, thank you for coming, and I'm like, I don't know what to say. You're welcome. I went to go hug Dallin. I'm like, oh shit, I can't hug him. So I was like, oh yeah, okay. Nice to meet you. I love you. I totally don't cry over fan fiction that I read, and I'm not gonna go walk away and cry right now. So they met them, my 3 friends that I met, and we all walked back downstairs. We were like freaking out because, you know, like, oh my god, Brendan said this to me, Dallin said this, but you know, it was insane. It was crazy. I cried. So when we get back downstairs, you know, we get back in line, we get to our spots, and we end up getting side stage. And yeah, it was pretty cool. If you guys want to see those videos, I'll post a link in the bio to the actual videos.
Fuck yeah!
So, like I said, when I went up to them, they all shook my hand. They were all like really nice, and they're really personable people. Some people think that Brendan's a dick and stuff like that, but he's actually really nice. I think the most personable one there was Kenneth, though, because, you know, he just, like, went right up to you and was like, hey! And he was all, like, bubbly and stuff. Yeah, so they are really cool with fans. Don't be afraid to approach them. They're not as intimidating as it seems. Like, oh my god, I'm meeting the loves of my life. That was me when I first was standing in line. I didn't know what I was going to say. I didn't know how to approach them. And I just kind of walked up and just, hey, just didn't really know what to say because it was all, like, happening so fast. But they are really cool, and yeah, I kind of wish we had more time with them. It's kind of like hug, picture, goodbye. It wasn't even a hug, it was like a handshake, picture, goodbye, you know?